This is homework for Thursday, November 12th. Alright, so graphs, you should have already had this done and you're just here to correct, I'm hoping. Now, first thing I need to do is find 2 points that go through the intersecting lines perfectly. Let's see, I see this one. It's really hard to make a point on here. I see that one. It looks like this one up here would be going through perfectly. We could use our y-intercept, but as you can tell, we're going to have to kind of guess what that y-intercept is. This one's close. I'm going to use this one up here. Okay, I'm going to make my slope triangle. Now, being careful about what it counts by, each block is 5, because this is 10, which means this has to be 5. So each block goes by 5. So my rise would be 5, 10, 15, 20. Now down here, each block is 1, because 1, 2, there's 2 here, 3, 4. So let's count my run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so to find my slope, I need to do 20 divided by 5, which is 4. So I can start my equation, y equals 4x. Now my y-intercept. The reason I chose this graph is because sometimes we are going to have to kind of guess what our y-intercept is. So there's no number here, but we can make an educated guess. So if this is 5 and this is 10, halfway between 5 and 10 would be 7.5. And I would say that's one more up. So I'm going to say that's 8 plus 8. Now again, the last thing I always do is make sure my line is positive or negative. It looks like from left to right it's falling, so it's a negative 4x. Y equals negative 4x plus 8. Alright, equation solving time. There are no parentheses, so I don't have to distribute. There are no like terms on each side, but I do have an x on both sides, and I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to subtract 2,000 on both sides. Subtract 2,000x. Negative 4,000 minus 2,000 is 6,000x. Bring down what's left of my equation. This is a negative. Okay, now I need to get rid of the addition on the side with the x, so I'm going to subtract 300. Negative 500 minus 300 is negative 800 equals 6,000 x. Now I need to divide, so this is where it gets ugly, and I just realized I forgot these negative signs here. Because I'm dividing by a large number into a small number, so I have to divide by negative 6,000 on both sides. So we have negative 800 divided by negative 6,000 gives me 1.133. If you want, you could turn that into a fraction, but I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, number 2, I need to distribute negative 12 times x and negative 12 times 2. I also have distributing on the other side 4 times x and 4 times negative 7. If I can get that to draw in there. Okay. Negative 12 times x is negative 12x. Negative 12 times 2 is negative 24. Bring down my negative 16. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. Okay, I see some like terms. I have negative 24 and negative 16 on this side of the equation. I cannot combine them with things over here because they're on separate sides of the equation. I'm going to combine those. Negative 24 minus 16 is negative 40. Bring down what's left of my equation. Okay, now I have x on both sides and I want to move them. I'm going to add 12x to both sides. so I can get rid of that nasty negative 12x. And I'm left with negative 40 equals 4 plus 12 is 16x minus 28. Now I need to undo the subtraction on the side with the x, so I'm going to add 28 on both sides. 40 plus 28 is negative 12 equals 16x. Now I'm dividing by 16. Now negative 12 over 16 can be reduced. So I can do 4 goes into 12 3 times, and 4 goes into 16 4 times. So it's reduced to negative 3/4. Okay, number 3, again I have to distribute. So 6 times x over 5, 6 times negative 4. So again I act like this is a fraction already. So 6 times x is 6x. 1 times 5 is 5. 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. Bring down what's left of the equation. Okay, now I want to get my x's to one side. This is the same as 1/5 x. So it'd be easier for me to subtract my 1/5 x here and here. Because then I'm left with 6/5 minus 1/5 just ends up being 5 over 5, which is the same as 1. Because this whole thing equals 5 over 5, which is the same as 1. So I'm just going to put my 1x down here. Minus 24 equals 15. So instead of writing 5 over 5x here, which is 6/5 minus 1/5 is 5/5, I just wrote 1x and then brought down my equation. Okay, I'm going to undo subtraction by adding 24 to each side. I end up with 1x equals 39. Now I don't really need to write my 1x because just x I know that means 1x, so I can just say x equals 39. Alright, I will see you tomorrow.